my name is Mrigank Shekhar and I shall be walking you through my presentation on image generation with conditional adversarial networks as a part of course undertaken at University of Florida. The course name is Pattern Recognition and I shall be covering up the topics presented in the research paper named Image to Image Translation with Conditional Adversarial Networks by Philip Isola, published at Berkeley AI Research Laboratory, UC Berkeley. The task undertaken for this project is to develop a general purpose solution to image translation problems. And the approach that I have used under the hood is basically conditional generative adversarial networks. One might say that image to image translation problems are as simple as translating a text from English to French or English to Spanish. Indeed, analogically, it is true. But here, instead of text being translated, what we are translating is an image. For example, given an image A, which looks like this, basically it is a facade. Let's label it as image A, and we need to translate this image to a target image called B, which looks like this, a building in red. So what will we do here? We will just apply image to image translation. There can be several approaches to this problem. A layman would say to call an artist to do the job, or a graphic designer would say to use Photoshop. But there's a problem here. What should we do if we had numerous images to be generated? Or we have to generate a different image at every iteration? We would eventually hit a roadblock. As the problems grow big, it consumes time and becomes repetitive in nature. A better way to approach this problem is via using pattern recognition. Just like we make ourselves learn in our normal life, similarly, we train our algorithm on large data sets. We then recognize patterns as our algorithm trains. After we have recognized few patterns, we use the gained knowledge to generate target results. We then validate our target results and improve further. One of the most popular way to achieve results is via generative adversarial networks. Generative adversarial networks are basically a class of neural networks that are highly effective at automatically learning an appropriate objective to generate image from descriptions. Generative adversarial networks can discriminate between real and fake images. Since we are familiar with the role of generative adversarial networks, now let's take a look at a typical architecture of a generative adversarial network. So, generative adversarial network consists of a generator which further is built upon an encoder. The role of the encoder is to downscale the input image up to a bottleneck layer. Another part of the generator is the decoder, which upscales the image from bottleneck layer to the last layer. An image of this whole architecture is shown beside. Apart from generator, generative adversarial network also consists of a discriminator. The role of the discriminator is to discriminate between real and fake output images. The whole diagram is shown on the right corner of this presentation. Here, the input, which is basically a cat face, is fed to a generator and a discriminator simultaneously. The generator generates an output image which is then sent to a discriminator. Also, the discriminator learns the output image and sends the out result as pass or a fail. If the result is pass, then further iterations of generator and discriminator alternatively takes place. If the result is a fail, Then a feedback mechanism, also known as back propagation, occurs, which basically adjusts the weight of both the generator and the discriminator. Now, let's take a look at how generative adversarial networks work. In a generative adversarial network, the generator is fed with a random noise vector Z and a training sample from training set X, and it generates an output image which is then sent to the discriminator to decide whether the image is real or fake. A more comprehensive diagram is shown below where we can see that generator takes an input X and produces an output G of X. Along with that, the discriminator also takes an input X and also the output of generator, which is G of X, and it decides whether the image is real or fake. Moving ahead, now let's take a look at a typical objective function for generative adversarial networks. The objective function for generative adversarial network is shown below. In this equation, g of z is the sample data that is coming from the generator, and the goal of the generator is to minimize the whole log 1 minus d of g of z term so that the probability get close to 1 and it can fool the discriminator. Similarly, the discriminator in this log d of x is trying to fool the generator by maximizing its probability towards 1. One of the major problems with a typical generative adversarial network is it produces blurry results. So, to circumvent this problem, generally we introduce L1 loss. L1 loss basically penalizes the distance between the ground truth outputs, which correctly match the input and the synthesized outputs. A typical equation for the generative adversarial network with L1 loss is shown below. Another class of problems faced by generative adversarial network is with respect to the outputs produced. In a typical generative adversarial networks, the user do not have any control over the outputs produced. For example, here we have used MNIST dataset, which consists of different labels which are called categories like shoes, shirt, pant, caps and hoodies. Once we run our generative adversarial network on this dataset, we do not have control over the types of images generated. Let's take an example. Here we can see that there are numerous different types of images which are generated, and we do not have any control over the output. Conditional adversarial networks solves the problems which haunt generative adversarial networks. Basically, it provides control over the types of images generated. It does so by adding a label y to generative adversarial network objective function. So, the probability is generated over y. Now, inserting labels allow us to generate the output as per our control. A conditional generative adversarial network representation is shown here. It consists of two main components, a generator and a discriminator. The generator takes a sample noise Z and an input label Y to generate synthesized images, whereas the discriminator takes in the real image and the label Y to predict if the generator labels are real or fake. Now, let's take a look at what advantages does conditional generative adversarial networks offer over a typical generative adversarial network by deep diving into its architecture. Here in this presentation, we can see that a conditional generative adversarial network architecture consists of a unit encoder decoder. Here in this diagram, we can see that every layer I is connected to a layer n minus I if there are total n layers in the whole encoder decoder architecture. So this line represented by these dotted symbols are basically called skip connections. Skip connections are helpful in shuttling vital low level informations between I to n minus I layers. It helps in many use cases like colorization, where prominent edge informations need not be downsampled and upsampled again. In this manner, the common information between the input and the output is preserved, and a conditional generative adversarial network is able to produce results which are conditioned on Y. Moving ahead now, let's take a look at some important code snippets from the project. Here, the first snippet we will take a look at is how to load a dataset. The dataset that we are going to use is a facade dataset. In this code snippet shown below, we simply give the URL path to facades.tar.gz file. As we are done loading the dataset, we will move forward and start to build our generator. To build our generator, we'll first set downsampling followed by upsampling. The code to set downsampling and upsampling is shown beside. This part of the code sets the downsampling, and this part of the code sets the upsampling. After we are done setting the downsampling and upsampling, we will add skip connections. The diagram for the whole code after adding skip connections is shown here. Here we can see that there are connections I which are connected to n minus I layers. So each I layer is connected to n minus I layer. After we are done adding skip connections, we'll define generator loss. The code to define generator loss is shown here. The code for our generator looks good, so now we will move forward and let's start defining the discriminator. We'll first build the discriminator. The discriminator that we have used in this project is a patch gang discriminator. It is basically a classifier that classifies in a 30 cross 30 matrix patch. Each 30 cross 30 patch of the output classifies a 70 cross 70 portion of the input image. The code to build the discriminator is shown below. After training our model for 150 epochs, we can now test our model and see the results. The results after testing our model is shown in this presentation. In this slide, we can see that the inputs are basically label maps. The whole output is based on a facade dataset. The first part, which says input, is basically a label map. The second part is the ground truth, which is the actual original image. L1 loss alone is used to show that it produced blurry results. CGAN alone is used to show that it produced sharp results but with pale colors. The color accuracy isn't as good as expected, but the combinations of L1 and CGAN together produce the best and realistic result possible.